be calling you a radical. It's election day here in DC. These are great activists in East Turkestan, where all your slave goods may. Maybe I'll get a little interview with him. But first I want to talk about my neighbor, my friend, Brent Taylor, who was killed in Afghanistan. You know, I've known him since a little boy. I know the whole family, our family, their family. We're all Weber County. We go way back. Yeah, I mean, I'll start to cry. He's over there for the money. Come on. They make a lot of money, these guys in the National Guard. They get a big check, and, you know, they're not fighting. They're not war. You know, they're over there, you know, doing planes, whatever, fixing. Most of the National Guard in Utah represent, you know, they work on the planes, on the F-16s, on the Lightnings, because they're based where we live. Hillfield's where we live. And, you know, what the fuck are we doing there? My dad was killed by his own government. That's who this guy was killed. Brent was killed by. I know his dad. I know his grandpa. You know, and we go way, way back. I've known him since he was a kid. Great guy. What the fuck are we? I went off to Afghanistan. So I'm doing my part here at the Peace Vigil. So, taking my turn. Kevin Blanche. It's election day, 2016. Oh, they opened up the door at the White House. You know why they opened? The only time they ever open up the door at the White House. You know what it's for? Once in a while, they have to open up the door to let the hot air out. Here we go. I gotta let the hot air out. Hey, you guys, I got a video going. You want to say something about your cause?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's our 155th day here in front of the White House, appealing to the United States government and the world, especially American citizens as well, to stand up against communist China and to help us shut down the Chinese concentration camps. Right now, over 3 million ethnic Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Uzbeks, and Tatars in occupied East Turkestan are in so-called political and cultural re-education concentration camps, where they are tortured, or they are beaten, they are raped, and their organs are
babies
harvested.
Cut out of their freaking bellies.
Their organs are harvested, and their bodies are later, after they take out their organs to leave no evidence, the Chinese government is cremating them. It's a modern day 21st century Holocaust, and so far the international community
they're asleep.
Has been silent on the issue. World governments have been
Let me caveat this real quick so people understand here. So let's get real. So I learned about this in Europe, of course, the Copenhagen activists. Do you need an umbrella? It's raining. So anyway, we got a lot of rain, but I want people to know these camps that he's talking about are where your slave goods are made, and we're talking in East Turkestan is a big place, and genocide is on. The Chinese are genociding these people. They're ethnically cleansing these people. I learned about this in Copenhagen. There's a girl that I was working with in Vienna. She has the baby. She says they get pregnant, they'll cut the baby out. Organs are being flown into the United States are being harvested there for people here, and it's us sucking up the goods and buying the goods, and we're unconscious about buying these goods. I mean, they're forced labor camps, and well, go ahead.
I mean, right now, a lot of people don't know about East Turkestan. East Turkestan, like Tibet, is the other Tibet that you haven't heard of. Like Tibet, we were occupied by communist China in 1949, and since then China has been engaging in genocide and colonization of our homeland. They've tested over 46 nuclear bombs, which killed over 800,000 of our people directly and left millions exposed to radiation, which resulted in cancer and whatnot. Right now, as we speak, China is forcefully relocating our people out of East Turkestan to transferring them out secretly into prisons across actual China, or what is actually China. And we fear that they might be preparing to carry out a large-scale physical massacre, genocide of these people, because right now they've been doing it covertly for the past 68, 69 years.
Well, like I said, let me grab my umbrella real quick. And this ties into our peace movement. We're anti-nukers, and I'm glad you talked about the nuclear. I appreciate that. And so this is the story on human rights atrocity that nobody in the U.S. knows. Now, they picked it up in Europe, I'm telling you, in Austria, because of one woman. You guys have an activist. She goes into the streets of Copenhagen, and she has a bathtub with a baby full of blood in it, and she's got their attention in Denmark, and then she goes to Austria, and that's how I met her. I didn't even know about this to the extent I knew it was going on. She taught me a lot. And so This is a nightmare. And so here we're sucking up all these goods made in China, this free trade. Well, these are American companies that go over there that contract with these people. These are American companies that are contracting with the Chinese. And this is what the Chinese is up to. These are our trade partners? Like you said. So I think if the average American was aware, I don't buy anything. You see anything on my body made over there new? No, so I think if the average American knew. So I'll tie this real quickly into Trump. So I work with the activists that went into Trump's women's shoe factory. So I work in Times Square. We have a cage. I simulate like I'm drinking blood from Chinese shoe. And then we run a hot light over brand new garments that got blood in them. But when they went in, do you know they've been detained? And people haven't even heard from them. And they're powerful activists. You know, it goes clear back to Tiananmen Square activists. And by the way, Dr. Wang died of cancer recently in prison. So go ahead.
That's something that's very common over there. I mean, the Chinese government deliberately injects people with, we don't know what they're injecting with. I mean, a lot of people that have been in these camps, I mean, they're injected with stuff, and then once they come out, I mean, they have all these boils and stuff, and they die like within days after they come out. It's really
human experimentation.
It's really tragic. I mean, the Chinese. They've collected the DNA samples, retina scans, voice prints of over 18.8 million of our people. It's the amount of security that they have in East Turkestan, the technological experiments that they're conducting is unprecedented. It's like 1984.
On chemo, on Balco. I call it on Balco. It's unbelievable. This story should be the #1 story in the world. Well, that and the cover-up of Fukushima. But like I said, and people, you can talk to thousands and thousands of people. Not one person will even know what you're talking about. So I'll get the word out, awareness. Now give me your name.
Salih Hudayar. I'm with the East Turkestan National Awakening Movement. It's a political organization that advocates for restoring the independence of East Turkestan, because we feel that there's no other option to ensure the survival of our people other than to restore our independence, because over the past 65 years of the 69 years of occupation, we're a so-called autonomous region, or that's what we were granted. And autonomy only meant murder, rape, torture, prison for us. That's all it is. It's only brought us destruction.
Very sad. It's unbelievable. So inside the UN in Vienna, the activists do talk about you guys, but the circles, and she's done such great work, and Denmark's talking about you guys big time. That part of the world, but that's the only part of the world. And, you know, and it's just basically people like you. You know, so I mean, I want to say this, the grassroots activists, and he's here every day. How important is this? And this is election day. This is important. This will be a historic video and historic footage. Come on, America. Let's wake up. Let's wake up to what China is doing. We want to be partners with China. I thought we fought the Korean War. We fought Vietnam. You know, all these things. Remember that? I mean, communist China. I mean, these American businesses have set up shop over there. And this is what your goods, this is the byproduct of this. I mean, this is as evil as it gets. I mean, we go back to Hitler. Come on. This is freaking Hitler on steroids, on Balco, on chemo. Yeah, I mean, it's a big place, right?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 times the size of Texas, the state of Texas. Roughly 1,828,418 square kilometers.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. It's a great big piece of real estate. Well, I appreciate your work, and your work's important. You know, big time. I'm thrilled to meet you.
Thank you.
And so, all right, stay tuned, you guys. So, we fight on. He taught me some stuff right there in that interview too that I didn't know. I mean, I know the atrocities because I've been taught when I'm in Europe and by the great activists, but I didn't realize the experimentation by nuclear that was going on over there. Now, you know, my father was human lab rat in the Nevada test site. I'm the son of an atomic veteran. And then I got leukemia. I've had heart defects, birth defects from birth, and then again, my neighbor is Brent Taylor, the international story that was killed in Afghanistan. That's my neighbor. I coached him when he was a kid in basketball. Fantastic guy. So my dad, I know, I paid the price generationally. He says they're experimenting in China with nuclears on human experimentation. The U.S. has been doing it for years, for decades in the Nevada test site. Now they want to re-up it. Trump, Obama both re-up weapons testing. And we're here at the peace vigil. This peace vigil is anti-nuclear bombs, anti-nuclear. It's all the same shit. You know, Hanford, you know, testing prisoners up there. The human experimentation has never stopped. I mean, it's outrageous. We're bombing and nuking the hell out of ourselves. We're genociding ourselves. It's called cancer. Come on, wake up. You know, people walk by here. There was a whole bunch of school kids here, but then I'm talking to the teachers. I'm like, you act like we're not even here? The media just ignores us and act like it's here? You know, 2 alternative sites come over here and just interviewed me just now, and they're like, oh, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. You know, I said, no, you guys have turned out to be worse than the mainstream media. Oh, come on, man. I mean, Fukushima is the greatest story in human history. You know, this one's second. This genocide's outrageous. Fucking, you're all caught up in, you know, I don't know what you're caught up in. Consumption junkies. We consume 44% of the world's product. We make up less than 4% of the world's population. Pull your heads out of your ass. Where do you think your goods are coming from? That's where they're coming from. You're going to participate. You don't think you're participating? Every time you go to Walmart, every time you buy anything, I don't do it. You're participating. You're participating. Always been, no. This is all free market fairy tales and ring it. This is all post-night 80ism. And it's on Balco. We're consuming 44% of the world's GDP. Hello. We consumed 14% in 1980 and we were considered pigs then. This is where your goods are coming from. Slavery's all the rage. There's the plantation right there. Fuck. I mean, wake the fuck up. You know, the American summer has a lot of blood on their fucking hands. A lot of blood. All of us do. You know? Come on, we got to look ourselves in the fucking mirror. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. Just because it's overseas, out of sight, out of mind, that's no fucking excuse. It's no fucking excuse. It's no fucking excuse. Now, I woke up a long time ago. I don't consume anything, and I haven't ever. You know, and I understand you got a job to do, you do whatever, but the military industrial combat, and I want to say this to Brent's family, how heartbroken I am and how sorry I am. I'll cry. I paid the price. I watched my dad die young. I was in a bone marrow transplant from this human experimentation. I had open heart surgery last year. I was going in and out of a coma. Fucking the price that I fucking paid, you know, my family's paid. And it's nothing what they're going through. And I mean, it's nothing. And so it's so sad what happened to Brandon. He's got 7 kids. You know, it's a good family. Really, an old school family. Our families are go to the cemetery. First person buried at the cemetery right by each other is a Taylor and a Blanche. You know, first those whiteys. But we need to wake up. This war machine, it all ties together. You know, we're unconscious. You know, we're a bunch of consumption junkies, selfish pricks. We got to quit being so fucking selfish. Come on. Oh, you did? No nuclear energy. That's the problem. Right, that's my problem with Zero, with plowshares, with ICANN. But ICANN's pivoting. They finally, the climate accords finally pivoted away from nuclear, first time last month. So they need to wake the fuck up. You know, and that's my beef I have with ICANN. That's my beef I have with plowshares. That's my beef I have with Global Zero. Fuck you. Nuclear energy and nuclear bombs are the exact identical same fucking thing. They're fucking Siamese twins. Mutated Siamese twins. One feeds the other, period. And, you know, so they need to wake the... They're the problem. See, that false equivalency bullshit like that, and I'll tell you what, Thomas wouldn't have talked like that. You look back at the old fucking movement when the old movement was here. Look what these signs and the buttons all said. They didn't say no nuke bombs. Anti-nuclear energy, anti-nuclear bombs. That's what they said. That's what this whole thing was started on an anti-nuclear energy movement. What about fucking 3 Mile Island? What about Chernobyl? What about Fukushima? That's what this was started on. I mean, the anti-nuclear energy movement was giant when this started. And we're going to sit and fuck ICANN. Fuck Global Zero. Fuck plowshares. You know? Nope. No, I support these guys. This dude's the shit, by the way. I had a long conversation with him. That's my kind of activism. He pulls no fucking punches. He's no panty painter. And they're out here. We tell it like fuck it is. You know, my condolences to Brent's family. I love you guys. I'll cry. Fucking fantastic dude. You know, I'll be missed the funeral. I'll pay my condolences when I get home. Stay in tune.